Hello, and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and finally back and pictured on your screen is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody. Been a little
And
while.
we are back. It's been almost a month, it seems like, and going back to school with the Wisconsin Badgers. I guess it's not really season start anymore, but I still like that season start because we're only into November. Jeff, we've started off at a clip of what was it, 5-3-2. Not exactly a great start, but not a bad start either with our Badgers.
Yeah, I mean, it's well. The problem is, I mean, your 5-3-2 is a decent start, but that in the Big Ten, that's only good enough for a tie for last place at the moment with Ohio State and Michigan State. Penn State started 9-1, so they're leading the conference. And I mean, just recapping where we were with this, the big problem, of course, in Kuhlman's are probably our best defenseman in the preseason ruptured a tendon in his foot, and he's still at least a month, more likely 6 weeks, 2 months away from coming back. So we are waiting on that. And I mean, otherwise we haven't. Oh, Gorniak's got just foot day to day with foot soreness, and the stats. Have a quick look there. Yeah, Gorniak. We haven't been getting a lot of scoring from our top guys yet.
It'll come eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think did we have a relatively tough schedule off the start?
Why don't you check our?
Minnesota Duluth start. That's not easy. Penn State and Michigan. Yeah, no, we've had a tough schedule early on, and yeah, we just dropped 2 games to both ends of the series to Michigan
Yeah.
State. But now it's got a couple of easier weeks coming up. Well, LIU and Lindenwood, two of the newer teams in Division One, so we should be able to win those. So I'm just going to continue from here. And we are, while we're doing this, mention that we've got a update coming out most likely sometime towards the middle of next week. And so I'm playing the beta version of that. So you may see a few things that look a little different here. Team Harmony screen. No, we got no problems at the moment. If we did have any problems, I would be able to show you some of the new one of the new features we've added. The team's captain can now intervene to help with some of the harmony problems. It gives you a little bit more to do on that screen and a little bit more control over what's going on with your team. But we don't have any problems there yet, so don't really have anything to show you there. This is sort of this update is going to be kind of a hybrid between a content update that adds a few new features, so that captain's intervention is one of them, and then a couple of other things, notably a whole bunch of new achievements. And then let me get the lineup.
And hello to
Set
Max and
quickness
Around the World
first.
Sports.
I'm going to take Gorniak out for one and put in Erdal in his place, since this is a relatively weaker opponent. Well, they started 5-1-1, and we just get out of it with an overtime win. Matthew de St. Fall, 3 assists.
All right, not bad.
And so the other one, other than adding the new content, we've also going to clean up a few bugs that are still in post release and post the first update. One that's come up quite a bit, the issue with teams not signing their own prospects. I think we've got that at least partially ironed out. I'm still looking at that right now. And then a couple others, one with historical, well, more than a couple others. There's a bunch of things we're working on, but the problem with historical draft picks in years where the draft changes, where the number of picks in the draft changes, there were some issues with that. I think Malte was working on that today, so hopefully we've got that straightened out soon. And let's see, anybody? Mark managed to get himself suspended. So he's going to have to come out and Lundqvist
Right.
goes in.
Steel Devil 333 in the chat also is giving a wave.
And I'm going to start the backup for game two against LIU. And an easy 4-1 win. Okay, so we're turning it around a little bit here. And we're all the way up to fifth in the division now. So we've at least gotten clear of those two teams at the bottom, which are actually Michigan and Michigan State both. Rough year for Michigan, apparently. And we've got Lindenwood coming up next week, another one of the new teams. Gorniak is almost healthy again, and just looking at the schedule, you see this is kind of typical of the way college hockey will work. You'll get two games at the end of the week, and it's that pattern for most of the year. A little bit differently around Christmas, but generally that holds true for until you get into the playoffs. And we did fix an issue. I can't remember if it's coming in this update or if we got that in the last one, where after the first season that Friday Saturday pattern would get broken up. But no, I think we did that that was in the first update. And apparently we're 16th in the country now, so we're creeping back into the top 20.
Rocket J61, first time in the chat, says on Wisconsin. Thanks for coming out.
Okay, McClellan are back up, fourth in the country in goals against average. Oh, I should forgot then. The thing we did last week was the National Signing Day. We're just a little bit past that, so I'll go back and
The
make
thing we
that
did
that
last
paper.
week. Yeah.
Well, last stream.
Couple ago.
Trying to remember what else we've done in the. I don't have to remember. I can look it up.
For the new update?
One of the things we did for the college draft in the update, there was a tendency not to draft particularly too many goalies, but it wasn't really balancing the positions properly when it came to the players they were taking in a draft. And where's our list here? National signing. There we go. National signing days. And our signings for next season. So we pretty much got most of the guys who were committed to us, and then picked up a couple of guys, particularly Breveris, the Latvian goalie, who's playing the USHL, and we've got Mo, our starter, is going to graduate this year, and I'm not sure either the backups are going to be ready, but we should have, by bringing in Breveris, we should have a decent starter next year. That's one of the things with playing as a college team. You've got that constant rotation going on, guys going out
Yeah.
in 4 to 5 years, or if they're if they're really good, getting signed away by the NHL before their career is up. Let's see, Chapman, we got redshirted, he can't play.
Can you unredshirt a guy in the year or no?
Yep, I could if I wanted to. There's right click on it, and you can see remove red shirt there.
Okay, good to know.
So if you wind up getting in roster trouble and okay, Lindmark is back and need that roster spot, you can open it up and feel like I don't have enough. Try taking out Brown, putting in Gorniak, and redo the lines. Okay, and Lindenwood, this should be a relatively easy game, I would hope. Yeah, 5-2 win. And 4 assists from Carson Bantle. Hasn't really been one guy standing out, and we're all the way up to third place in the Big Ten now.
Breeze837, who just joined us a bit here. He says, "How does the new college players work? Do we recruit them, or is it automatic?"
No, there's a couple of there's sort of the recruiting is handled via a couple of draft-like events. We did the other one last stream, so if you want to go look up that VOD, and you can see how that worked. But basically, you get players to commit on at the start of January, make a verbal commitment to you, and then next November you can sign them for the upcoming season. And
Yeah.
going to leave Mo a goal here, pad his
Beetle
stats a
fifty
little
five
bit.
question on aging. I'm wondering what a 10 rating age means. Is that 28 to 30 then?
Uh, well, 10. Oh, 10 on the aging. That will be no 10 is a slightly low. Typically, NHL players, an average player with an average career curve will have about 11 or 12. So a guy with a 10 will tend to go downhill a little bit earlier, probably 26, 20, well 27ish, I would guess. He starts to decline, or is likely to start to decline. It's not a guaranteed thing. And with a couple of wins, I mean, with 4 wins against weaker competition, we are solid, well, tied for third place in the Big Ten. And what does the poll say? Poll says we're in the top 10 now. Air Force still at number one, Harvard second, Minnesota third, but we're
All right.
creeping
Well,
up
that's
there.
good.
And should mention that the ability and potential stars are relative to college hockey. That isn't overall. These guys aren't 5-star NHL prospects. If I had quit the job and switched to an NHL team, the star numbers would be a lot lower. And since guys are going to be leaving here at probably 22, 23, it's going to be relatively rare that somebody maxes out their potential while they're with us. So you have to pay a little bit more attention to what the guy's ability is at the moment. Potential is nice to have, but if it's there's a good example. Somebody like Chapman, who I've got redshirting, 1 star right now, 3.5-star potential. Is he ever really going to get close to that by the end of his career? Don't know. You like seeing guys who are a little bit more developed before they get to you. And I think I've got a week off here, so it'll be a little while before the next game. Holy cross, 1-13 to start the season. Ouch. And 0-10 at home. And it looks like we're playing pretty well defensively. We're under both goalies under 2 goals against average. Now let's see what else we got coming in the update. There was an issue where college teams were getting a bunch of hits to their fan happiness during the playoffs. It was for some reason thought it was missing the playoffs repeatedly. We've got that fixed now. And Harvard lost one of their, well, not one of their better players, but a pretty good prospect, Joe Miller. Looks like for the rest of the season. So that's not going to help them. And Kuhlman still showing 1 to 2 months. Hasn't come off that yet. And since there's no trades or free agent signings, anything like that, there's a little bit less for us to do in these streams. We'd normally be looking around, making trades or picking up guys in waivers or signing free agents. So since it's college hockey, none of that. I think I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get the whole transfer thing into the game this year for college hockey, but I definitely want to do that at some point. So you see some movement of players from program to program. And I wonder why it's a little surprised we're getting so many international guys. And wow, those aren't particularly good prospects. And take a look at that maybe. Another thing it was doing when the find a walk on option here to find walk on players to fill out your college roster was recruiting players. It shouldn't have. It was giving you, particularly Europeans, a lot of those. And was it? There's one odd country that was it Turkey? No, I can't. No, I don't think so. I can't remember which country it was, but it was generating a lot of players, walk-on players, and shouldn't have been doing that. They should. The walk-ons should pretty much always be Americans. Development report shouldn't be anybody headed downhill, and maybe you want to see a little bit more development, but some of the young guys getting 2 or 3 points bumped up. Jared Moe, our goalie, number 8 in jersey sales, and we didn't get any players of the month. Monthly budget. We're running a little low on money here. It's. I don't want to take the scouting down too far before signing day.
JFB 1985 in the chat says, "Good evening. Hope I didn't miss much." And Be-
Nope, just
and
getting
Beetle
started.
says
We've got a
he went
few
to
wins off
Quinpac
the.
games at home games on Fridays.
Okay, and now we got this. We're finally back to the games here. We've got, oh great, Michigan this week and Minnesota the next, and then a couple of weeks break. So have we got everybody healthy again? Hmm. Hate having Brown out of the lineup because he's got fairly good potential and he was doing okay, but
And he's the right guy to come back in. He'll be the right guy to come back in.
yep. Is anybody playing particularly badly? Game rating average. Oh, Donovan. Why have I got him in? Gonna swap him for Kerr. And try that against Michigan. And we get 3 and get shut out 3-0. Adam Fantilli will be a pretty high draft pick this year. 2 assists for Michigan. And looks like they're starting to turn their season around. They're up to 3rd in the conference. And yeah, they're in 9-4-2, and we're in 5th place. And anybody hurt? No, fortunately. And we'll try the backup in, but we really need to get a goalie or at least one. And we get crushed
Ouch.
6-2. So, Hughes 2 points. And Cruz Lucius, one of our better forwards. I think he's he's a freshman this year. Oh, great. Torn ankle ligaments. So I guess that's how Brown finds his way into the lineup. Got another serious injury. And I'll fix the lines when we get around to next week. Oh, and yeah, there we go. There's a new feature that we have an option that we added this year. If I wanted to, I could delay treatment on Lucius, but he would be he, there'd be a risk of injuring his ankle even worse, and he's also gonna it's also gonna impair his
Yeah,
performance,
we did this in our
and that's
achievement stream, and then we lost the guy for the year.
yeah. So there's a big risk of that happening, and it's gonna hurt his performance. And it also doesn't really make sense to be doing it in December. It's something to do towards the end of the season if you really want to keep the guy in the lineup. But that'll be a no for now. And we got Minnesota in the next one. Geez, Minnesota 14-2-2. That's going to be a tough game. So Wisconsin isn't having a terrible season, but just not quite competitive with the best teams at this
No,
point. And Holy Cross is now down to 1-17.
Jeff, as not just a hockey fan but a football fan as well. But with my favorite NFL team looking more towards draft picks than the idea of playoffs, they have mock draft simulators out, right? And when I'm doing
Yep.
playing around with the mock draft simulators, because sometimes I need something to do during work hours, I come across guys with just fantastic names that I suddenly want my favorite team to draft. For instance, there is
That's pretty much your whole drafting
well,
strategy in FHM,
but
isn't it?
I know it is, but we need to expand the FHM names because man, some of the names of like football players coming out. There's a cornerback playing for University of North Carolina whose name is Storm Duck, and I'm like, yeah,
Okay,
I
that
want
sounds
that
pretty
guy
good.
on my team. Yeah, like Storm Duck, and then I don't know if you know this, there is a
And we got blown out 6-0 by
highly
Minnesota, by the way.
publicized Alabama University of Alabama football player who will be out next year. His whose first name is Kool Aid. Kool Aid McKingstry.
So you're saying I should add
I
those to the name
absolutely
list.
think you should. I want to have a guy show up whose name is Kool Aid and Storm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to juggle the roster around a little bit
Anyone in chat
here.
can feel free to disagree with me, but I'm just stating facts here.
Okay, Kira's going out, and try Verlicki instead of putting Donovan back. And forwards probably stay as they are, although they're see this is with the schedule being like this, you're inevitably going to get guys who are tired for the second game. So maybe we can catch Minnesota now. I'm going to try Mo back in goal again. And it's a 6-1 loss.
Should we be looking more at our tactics here?
So we just,
Because I feel like we need to do something different.
I think it's more of a talent thing. We're just not, I mean, Wisconsin's had a few rough years
Oh,
in
that's
real
true.
life.
How are they doing really this year? Let me look.
Haven't looked. I mean, the lineup is looking a little bit better than what they've had recently, but we are just, well, we're a little bit over 500. We're ahead of Michigan State. That's it.
They are currently 4 games under 500, and they are
Yeah.
1-9-0
So,
in their conference. 5-5
eesh.
and home, 2-6 and away.
Okay, so maybe this wasn't the best choice of team. That'll be a
Yeah,
challenge at
Storm would
least.
be a grinder. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. How could you not want somebody named Storm on your team? Yeah, I thought Wisconsin was supposed to be
I'm
better than
trying to
that,
think of
but
other new things we got coming up for the update.
well, we talked about it before the last time you were here, but new achievements were coming.
Yep, we got about, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 new achievements. And several of those are related to college hockey. and pretty much the standard ones for winning the national championship or making it to the Frozen Four or winning conference championship. And there's a couple of fun ones in there too. Let's see what else. Oh, one of the things we did, we cut down on the preseasons for the. It won't be happening in this game because we started this before we did that. But the preseasons for the North American minor league, minor leagues aren't as long and tend to start a little bit later. We had an issue where the NHL, because the preseasons were starting so early, the minor league teams were having to sign players and clogging up their rosters, and then the NHL teams would try to send players down to them. There wasn't roster room, and that was creating a bit of a mess. So the NHL was sending basically far too many guys to the ECHL. So we've got, I think the sequencing on that is a little bit more realistic now. Let's see, what have we done? Oh, there's an issue with the Czech leagues. Their relegation to they went back to having a relegation playoff at the end of the season for their last place team, and the winner of the second league. It used to be it was automatic promotion and demotion for the last couple of years, but now they play a 7-game series for that. So we've added that back in. And we're out of the national rankings again. But in good news, Kuhlman's finally back, 1 to 2 weeks away, so that will shore up our defense quite a bit. And we're into the end of December, so Charlie Stramel is actually playing for the U.S. at the World Junior Championships. And it looks like that's the only player we've got in the World Juniors, though. Although because we're a fairly old team, at least by college standards. Well, a couple of guys under 18, or under 20 rather. And Kuhlman's would probably be playing for Canada, but he obviously is hurt. So we'll see if Stramel does okay for the U.S. And we've been doing a little bit of work trying to get. There were some issues with teams, NHL teams in particular, letting good prospects go or not signing them. That's kind of a multi-layered problem. Part of it was I had the first couple of years of drafts in the game tended to have too many good players in them, so I've had to tone that down a bit, and that was causing some issues, crowding players out that shouldn't have gotten crowded out. And then there was an older thing where, let's play this game first. Lake Superior. Oops, what did I do? Who's out? All right, Lucius and Stramel are both out, so I'm going to have to juggle those around a little bit. Newton and Malmquist both in? Yeah, I guess so. Oh no. Just Malmquist? Okay. And hopefully we get a win here. And nope, 4-2 loss to Lake Superior. That's
Not looking good on the season. Do you
not
think we're going to
good.
survive to year 2 at this rate?
I think we are. I don't think what are our expectations anyhow? Let me take a look at that. Can't remember what they are. It's been so long since we started this. What was I saying? Oh, the issue with there was a problem. We fixed part of it last year where the AI didn't really understand when players' rights were expiring for NHL draft picks. And we got that mostly fixed last year, but there was still one issue where it wasn't really taking advantage of the fix. So I think we closed that little problem and with some of the changes we made this week. So I'm just testing that now, but it looks better at first glance. And wow, the U.S. lost to Latvia 4-2 in the World Juniors. these around a little bit more. Oh, great. Now, Cole Caulfield's brother Brock is hurt as well. So we're apparently going with nothing but centers in the lineup. And Try McClellan the backup and goal against Clarkson. There we go. 7-0 win. Much better. And Luke Lemaster, the defenseman, who normally doesn't score that much, is the first star with 2 goals. Oh, and I think we got that. Yeah, we started this one before this bug was fixed. We've got 2 games in 1 day, so I'm going to have to play with a very tired team.
Oops.
There was an issue with the first version of the NCAA schedule, which is what this game is using. And we lose the second game 3-1 to Clarkson, so we got an unintentional doubleheader there. That was fixed in, it was either the hot fix or the right after the release or in the first update, but doesn't do that anymore. And we should be getting the end of season player poll in a second.
All right, all right.
And there it is. And does any of our guys get mentioned? Nope, none at all. The injury and when's the next game? January. We still got a week off. So Caulfield should be almost back by then. Lucius still hurt. Kuhlman's probably not for that game. And Stramel should be back from the World Juniors. Let's see how the World Juniors are going. And Canada and Sweden still undefeated. And the U.S. in third should still make the playoffs, so on their side. Keep an eye on that. Let's see what else is in the update. There was a problem with some players that were signing in Europe for far less than they were supposed to. It was primarily an issue with the Finnish league. They've got a super low minimum salary for the top league there that was causing some problems. So I think we've got that fixed now. I checked it this morning. I was looking at a test game and it seemed to be better now. Development report. And it's okay. Some of the guys who we've signed for next season: Whitelaw, Breveris, showing some improvements. Here somebody was asking about how how player recruiting works, and this is the other half that we got. Yeah, we got enough time to do this. The verbal commitments pseudo draft. So what we're doing at this stage is getting guys who are not necessarily going to play for us next year, but at some point down the road to make a commitment to the program. It's non-binding, but it will give you a much better chance of signing the player
Excellent.
eventually. And when do we get to? These aren't really. It's not picks because all you can do is nominate a player here, and other teams can still compete for them.
Ooh, 34th.
34th, yeah.
So how does the game determine who's first?
It's partial. It's current performance, recent performance, things like national championships recently, and then overall reputation of the program. So Minnesota, not surprisingly, first. And you can see some other prominent teams: Michigan, defending national champion; Denver, Air Force, which is leading the league right now, or at least was the last time we looked. And one of the things you want to try to keep an eye on. It's not always possible depending on your scouting, but what the player's intelligence rating is. 14 is fairly high. If you get anything below, below 11 is kind of risky, and anything below 10, below 9 or 10, the guy probably shouldn't be playing college hockey, and you're going to have trouble getting him to qualify academically. But I will start this, and I am just going to not pay any attention to what I could if I wanted to, or actually I will compete with this one. See, I'm saying yes, ask him to commit. Let's just take a look at the guy, and actually a pretty good player. He's 15 years old, so he won't be showing up for another 2, 3 seasons yet. But we'll compete, and nope, he's definitely going to Minnesota. Not surprisingly, Minnesota guy going to Minnesota. So I will just concentrate on our own picks here and stop asking me about future nominations. And you can see when I hit next nomination at that point, because it's going through this competition process for every team, it takes a little bit longer to jump ahead than it
So
would
Jeff, I
normally
know
have.
the option's not there, but I'm going to ask you it right now. Would there be any way in the future to maybe add an option to if there's Wisconsin guys come up, we'd be able to uh like it would stop for them?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I should have some better break. There are other break options for the National Signing Day draft. So we should probably improve those a little bit for the verbal commitments. And you can see here, looking at the draft history, some of the teams that nominated the player isn't necessarily the one that's getting him. Steinhoff, nominated by Minnesota State, winds up going to Bemidji instead. Brendan Krasinski instead of Quinnipiac goes to Michigan, and so on. And now we're looking for our guy, though. Hmm. One of the things I can do now, we added this filter option for states here. And we got any good Wisconsin prospects? Yeah, we do. Epperson. Yeah, he's on the national team. 5-star potential, 1 star already. That's good. So I'm going to nominate Epperson, and yep, he joins us. That's good. And we also got another decent prospect, Holston, but I'm not sure I'm going to use that. My early nomination for him. I think he can wait a little bit. I'll probably go outside the state for the next one. So let's remove that filter. And too early to take a goalie, I think. Should probably look at a defenseman. Hartman, this guy's interesting. 1.5 stars already, Canadian. And this, by the way, the draft will only show you players who are interested in playing college hockey, so you don't have to worry about competing for the major junior leagues for these players. These are the guys who specifically want to play in college. So you'll notice that the list tends to be heavier for our North American players. There's a few European guys, but not quite as many as there are Canadians and
Another
Americans.
question from Beetle says on another question about ratings, shooting accuracy. What is 16 equal to? 30 goal scorer?
That's not really that isn't really a good way of thinking of it. That's a 16 is a pretty good rating for an NHL player, or at least a forward. It'd be great for a defenseman. Okay, still getting 5-star potential guys, and running a little low on goalies here now that I see it. Ooh, wow. North American goalies left. And try for Elias.
They try for the Swedish goalie.
Guido.
Yeah.
He's 19 already, though.
Well,
I was hoping to get a younger
yeah, I
guy.
guess.
There's just not very many good ones. No, I'm going to go with Elias. He's a year younger. And I won't actually be able to get him for a couple of years still. That's why it's a bit of a risk to be taking the
Yeah.
older 18, 19-year-old guys because they're going to be 20, maybe 21 by the time you get them. And goes. That's a good name. Hiroki Gosik. Playing for Penticton in BCHL. Let's try him. And we got him.
Nice.
Haven't really had a lot of competition. I mean, part of it is there's not another major program in Wisconsin. And let's see. Oh, we got. So do we still have the local guy available? Oop, nope. Somebody grabbed him. Yeah, you're right. There should be some sort of an alert that
Yeah, I'm just thinking like
interrupt or the
if you're
option of
seeing like
yeah.
Wisconsin guys, they're likely going to have a better chance of signing with you.
Yep, they're not. We're not going to be able to get that in for this update, but I'll see if we can do that for the one after. And let's go with LaPointe. Gonna try to focus on a number of guys. No, and we lose one to Lindenwood. Ouch. I don't know if we figured we had too many defensemen already, but not interested in us apparently.
Harsh.
And we're getting the 3.5-star guys are all older players. I'm going to try to focus on the younger ones. O'Shea from Newfoundland. Let's see. Yep, he's going to come. Surprisingly few Americans. Or have we used them all up already? Oh, even the 3-star potential guys are all 18, 19. So I might as well take an 18, 19-year-old guy. A decent 18-year-old. No, they're
Well,
all
take one of
19.
those current ability guys. Take the German. Yeah,
Roman Zapp. Good
absolutely.
name.
How do you not like that name?
Zapp. Zapp has agreed to
Woo!
join us. And I'm going to grab another young goalie. I'm not sure we'll ever use him, but Nathan Cam, 15-year-old Canadian. I'm actually going to change the filter just to get rid of all the older players. And yeah, wow, that's really getting thin. We got one guy who's 1-star already, Boulian. Canadian playing Junior B in the U.S. And should I take you, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want
Yeah,
me to draft you?
why not? You have the puck going down the sunrise.
No, I don't.
You shoot, you
Thank you.
score.
Take him just for the name. Terrible grammar. And yeah, we're running low here on viable players. I'd actually better take that filter off. Oh, there's still a few decent older ones. Oh, another Huguenot. I'm assuming that's related to ours. There is actually a bonus if. Oh no, I think that's fathers. Yeah, we haven't got. I'm trying to get brothers into the game next year, I think, but not there yet. And Bonkowski, good name. And that is the draft.
Good.
So verbal commitments, we got 3 potential 5-star guys. That's weird, showing 5-star ability right now. He definitely doesn't have that. I wonder where that first number is a little off for some of them.
Would it be their current league?
Oh yeah, I think it is, but it shouldn't be doing that.
Well, I'm just looking why it would be doing
It
that,
should be showing it
and just
relevant
looking
to
from
our
the
league.
leagues.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if that would be the case.
yeah, no, I think it is because I mean, you is showing up as what 2 stars
Yep,
when we drafted him.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 and 1.5 on the screen is 5 stars. He's playing in Junior B. Okay, budget is starting to come up again. That's better, and I can cut down on the scouting a little more, save a little bit more money. And how much have we still got time?
Yeah,
Oh,
10
good.
minutes.
So I mean, we're not a terrible team right now. I mean, if we get Kuhlman's back, we can still we'll still be in the playoffs and maybe pull off an upset. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else we've got coming in the update. There was an issue with the auto scheduler. If you rebuilt the NHL schedule at the start of the first season, it wasn't leaving. Wasn't making a Poland schedule for the All Star game. So you get the All Star game played on top of regular games. That's fixed now. Trying to remember. Oh, there was a thing where if you in leagues that started with an initial draft, which you can do primarily in custom leagues and historical, if you added players before the holding the draft, it wasn't adding them if the player's age was over 20 for some reason. But that's fixed now. It'll add anybody that you add. Oh, World Juniors and U.S. bouncing back apparently. Latvia 3-0 in the first round. And U.S. 2-1, Canada 3-0, Sweden 3-0.
Who's on Team Canada? I'm curious.
I'll check in a
And
second.
who's on Team USA? I go pull up there.
Another thing we did, we rebalanced the team harmony system so the off ice incidents will a larger share of them will go to players who have high controversy ratings. So the players who are off ice issues will be a little more controversial now. And Strain will yet to get a point in the World Juniors, but still playing. And Latvia 4-0.
All right, let's.
And Canada lose that one?
Yeah, they have a loss.
Lost to Sweden. Oh, they got injuries. Fantilli went his
Okay,
out.
so
Is that a bad one?
neither
Just David
goalie
Day.
is, or neither of the 3 goalies is the goalies who are going, actually. It's Gaudreau and Milik. Brant Clark is on the team, yeah. Allen.
Yeah.
Owen Pickering
Clark is, Bedard
missed.
is.
Logan Mailloux is on that team? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that would fly.
Few guys for sure. Some other different choices.
And Owen Zellweger from Winnipeg, or actually, I don't know, looks like he's been traded in this game from Everett to Winnipeg in the WHL, having a good tournament.
Yeah, he did make the official team.
Yeah.
Cool.
So first round matchups: Sweden, Slovakia, USA, Czech Republic, Latvia, and Austria. Latvia somehow went 4-0
Oh,
in the opening
that's
round, and Canada
Canada's got the
versus
toughest
Finland.
matchup there, I think.
Yeah, the World Cup all over again.
Something close to it.
Okay, Caulfield is almost healthy. What happened in the World Juniors? No, haven't played the games yet. Oh, and Stramel comes through for the U.S. Goal and assist in a 6-4 win over the Czechs.
Nice.
Sweden stays undefeated, gets by Slovakia, so the Americans will play them in the second round. And Latvia gets its fifth win in a row, and Canada 5-3 over Finland. So Canada has to beat the surprising Latvians, and we finally got a game again. And Lucius is still hurt. But oh wow, Newton's going downhill.
Uh-oh.
I mean, he's just a spare. Try Malmquist out, put in Morrison. Let's redo the lines. Is there anybody we got dressed that's not playing well? Nope. The bottom guys in the. Oh, Latch is not having a good year at all. Well, good defense. He's been good defensively and not really living up to that 5-star potential. And can we beat Notre Dame? Nice, 5-1 win. Yagnoff is the first star and gets hurt as well. Just a facial cut, nothing serious. So we're pretty much back to where we started this, a couple of games above 500.
Oh, that's not bad.
One other thing we did in the update, should mention that if you're playing as a European team, it's a little easier to sign, particularly if you're in one of the bigger leagues. It's easier to sign young players, young prospects from other European countries, or particularly the smaller countries, or well, smaller in hockey terms. There was a block on that before, but we removed that because you're seeing a lot of guys now playing, particularly Sweden and some extent Switzerland and Finland too. But guys going from 17, 18-year-old guys playing junior for the bigger teams in those countries. And give McClellan the second game. Can we go to against? Yeah, we do. 2-0 against Notre Dame, 4-1 win. And Latch, who I was just complaining about, gets first star. And we're back to the middle of the pack. Actually, a very competitive conference, other than Minnesota and Penn State have sort of separated at the top, but below that, the 3 through 7 spots. And Michigan State is back up to 500 now. We also fixed some issues with the international relegations. When Russia and Belarus come back, we weren't handling those properly, so they should be. Oh, and the U.S. beats Canada. Was that the final? That was the final. So Canada got by Latvia just barely 3-2, and the U.S., despite losing that first round game against Latvians, makes it through to the final and beats Canada 4-1. So U.S. gets gold at World Championships, and did Stramel get any points? Nobody had a decent game. So he comes back to us with World Championship gold, and Coolemans is almost
There's
back.
hope on the horizon, Jeff.
Although we're still not in the top 20. Penn State #1 in the country. So we'll have to get by them to, well, not necessarily, but a decent chance we'll have to get by them to get to the anywhere in the playoffs. And let's just finish this up. I want to see if I get him Coolemans back for that next set of games. Has to be really close. We keep getting news items about it. Oh, and he's actually, no, he can play now. He's Yellow Star. What's my next game? Oh, still got a week away, so I think I may get most of those guys back before the next one. Holy Cross still has not won another game. 1-19 to start the season. Not sure if I mentioned it. One of the things we're going to add in the update, historical mode is going to have a couple of the minor, not really minor, but the mid-season tournament, mid-season series that the Soviet teams played against the NHL in the 70s and 80s. The Challenge Cup in 79 and Rendezvous 87 and 87, obviously. And Coolemans is healthy. So you'll see those games if you're playing in 78, 79, or 86, 87.
All right.
Spoiler alert, the NHL tends not to do very well, at least in the first one. It's a little closer in the second one.
I'd still
They're
like
almost
to
healthy
have the
again.
Soviets just randomly, or the Red Army team just randomly show up and challenge you to a game.
Well, they did do the tours in mid-season against, the yeah, it was the Red Army, and sometimes it was Moscow
Yeah,
Dynamo
I just want
or
the Red Army, just a giant pop up of the Red Army has challenged you to a game. Do you accept?
and if so, do you actually play your good players because it's the middle of the NHL season?
You
And
got to have the WHA in there too, Jeff. Come on.
okay, almost got everybody back here. I'll just get these last couple of games in before we sign off, and maybe take a quick look at our team scoring. Oh, even Lucius is almost back. Good. Wow, that was a rapid recovery from torn ankle ligaments.
Take what you can get.
And he can't quite play, but still very good. Okay, gonna have to reshuffle lines before we do this. Coolemans is back and at 100%, so that is great news. Who is going to sit though? Kerr has been playing pretty well. Well, Master's been better defensively. I'll take Kerr out. And then against Ohio State, can we get a couple of wins to close this out? Apparently not. 4-1 loss. And we'll try again tomorrow, and hopefully we can at least get a win this so we're in this, so we're a little farther ahead than we were when we started. Fitness looks decent. I'm going to give him Quell on the start. Back up, he's a little bit hotter. And pays off with a 4-0 win. And Kugelman's first star in the second game back. Just going to play that forward one day. And we'll take a quick look through the rest of the league standings and our own scoring. And we actually drop back down to 6th. Although we're slightly better than we were at the start of this. Anything else interesting going on in the other conferences? Nothing really standing out. Oh, that's not great. Defenseman leading us in scoring. We really need help at forward. Got a bunch of guys hovering at 3.5 stars. It'd be nice if some of those broke out, but well, Stramel's only 18, but we're probably going to lose him to the NHL before he graduates. And game rating. Oh, Bentle actually playing really well. And just take a quick look. Graduating seniors this year. Mo, that's going to
Yep.
hurt. Donovan, not a big deal. Gorniak. Yeah,
You're losing a
that
lot
kind
of
of
your
hurts.
scoring.
Lindmark. Yeah, Lindmark, a 5-star potential. He's never going to